Hello, lovely ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Acne Beautiful with Morgan Elizabeth. That's me. I hope you guys are all doing really well, enjoying the fall weather, whatever it brings to you. It's really interesting here in East Texas. One day it's cool, the next day it's hot and humid. It's different. It's different, all right. So I'm still waiting for that cool, dry weather. Come on down, cool, dry weather. As you can see, I have a tank top dress on today, so it is pretty warm and pretty humid. But I'm learning to roll with the punches, as they say. Not the mosquitoes, though. Today's topic is a big one, and it's a complex one, and it's a topic that's going to take time to break down over the course of various videos. We're going to be talking about of course we're going to talk about acne. We're going to talk about hormones today and how they can influence acne. Hormones in and of themselves is a big topic. We have to talk about the endocrine system, and today we are really going to lay the groundwork to understand how hormones work in the body. Next time, we'll talk about the endocrine system, which is a really fascinating look at how your hormones operate in your body and what they are, what they do, and then we're going to go take it from there and further investigate some strategies that one can implement to kind of help navigate the world of hormones for your individual body. Okay, so remember, when healing from anything, especially from acne, we really have to be very patient with ourselves, practice that patience, practice that compassion, and then take this information and let it all sink in. Please remember, guys, and I know you've heard this kind of disclaimer before, I'm not a medical doctor. I did not go to medical school. I am a nutritional health coach who went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And as a certified nutritional health coach, I offer information and advice. Really, it's more of an educator position. I offer the support that those need to help them navigate their own journey. It is still your own journey. That being said, I'm not here to prescribe or tell you to do anything, take anything, etc., etc. Why I do what I do is because I care about helping others, and I understand how complex the world of acne can be and how disheartening it can be to try again and feel like you're failing miserably. And that's why a lot of my audience is an an adult population struggling with acne. Yes, my tips, my tricks, my information is suitable for those in their teenage years, and I have worked with teenagers before, and they have gotten great results. But I really speak to those who have been down the road and tried a lot of things, and they're adults, and they're still dealing with this crap. So remember, you are a whole person, and as a whole person, you have your own complexities, you have your own past, and your own path forward. And even though there are similarities across the board in terms of treatments, things that work, things that don't work, it is still a very individual path. So what I'm doing with you guys throughout these videos is I'm sharing my wisdom. I'm sharing what I have seen work, not just personally, but what has worked with others. So always remember, be your own advocates. I cannot say this enough, and I really always encourage this of others. Be your own advocate, do your own research. This is a great way to get information and kind of get the ball rolling, but there's so much information out there that I can't get it all, and I can't necessarily give it to you guys in a way that is always going to be the most impactful for you. So what you can do to help support me, if you feel like this stuff resonates with you, in order to give back, if you find that you're not sure how to give back, some of the best ways of giving back is to simply share this information with others that you think it would help. My reach and my audience is limited, and a lot of whom I interact with happen to be friends and family. And until these algorithms get the messages, the content, the clicks and everything that they need, it's challenging to get the information out to the certain audiences that you want to impact. So I never want finances to be an obstacle for anybody, and that's why right now the world of Acne Beautiful is free content. And I have offered services in the past that have been one-on-one coaching, and my programs have been 3 and 6 month long programs, but I'm breaking things down and I'm doing it a different way. I want to make things affordable for everyone, and I want to have options for everyone. And I want the options to be not just virtual coaching, but I want you to be able to get what you need from the content alone sometimes. But just remember this, it's a starting place, and sometimes the reason why you seek out the help of a community and a coach is because they can help you really navigate those waters when they get a little muddy, when they get a little too complex, or when our emotions just start to get the best of us, and it happens to all of us. So thank you guys for being such great supporters once again, and if there's anything out there that you guys are doing as well that you would like support with, let me know. I'm always looking for new information. I love to support others in their journeys, and this is a great time to create. So if there's something you're passionate about, put it out there. And thanks for supporting Acne Beautiful. All right, so let's talk about acne and hormones. Acne is not completely a hormonal issue, as we know, but they can influence the state of our skin to a great degree, especially if we're experiencing imbalances in our hormones. And we're gonna get to that. There are complex mechanisms at work in general when it comes to hormones, and especially hormones that may be out of balance. And they can have an effect on the skin's molecules in the skin's sebum or oil, which can further create a clogged pore, which is where the skin cells can proliferate and separate too fast. When this occurs, there's really like a perfect storm, so to speak, or perfect environment for the skin's natural bacteria to accumulate. And this can result in inflammation. We know this inflammation as acne. So we're going to break all of that down, but let me just say that all again, because that was a big thing to sort of break off right at the get-go, and I understand that. Hormones are complex mechanisms to begin with. We have to talk about the endocrine system in order to understand how hormones work in the body. And we're going to talk about the endocrine system in the next video. But for today, we just want to understand that it's complex, and when they're out of balance, it's even more complex. Hormones that are out of balance can have an effect on the skin's molecules. And within the molecules of the skin, we have the sebum, or the oil, as I referred to in the last video. And that overproduction of the oil can further result in a clogged pore, which is where the cells, the skin cells within the pore tend to proliferate. They don't separate as easily, they become kind of sticky, or they separate too quickly. There are all these little intricacies that can affect what's happening with the breakdown of a skin cell within the pore. And the oil is in there as well, so is the hair follicle. And we're gonna, give a little tour of our skin cells, so to speak, so you can get a better picture in your mind's eye of what that means. All you need to know for now is when that process occurs, there's a really perfect environment for the natural bacteria that's already on our skin to accumulate, resulting in inflammation. And yes, we know this inflammation as acne. Okay, so a couple different things, and we will talk about the natural bacteria on the skin as well. Hormones in general don't tend to just go out of control in isolation. There are a lot of different factors that influence them day in and day out, and they are primarily driven by lifestyle. So what do we mean by lifestyle? In this case, eating processed foods, even the seemingly healthy processed foods, eating too much food or too little food, not sleeping well, feeling stressed, smoking, drinking a lot, not exercising or exercising too much, being disconnected from nature, fresh air, sunshine, clean water. These can all affect the function of your hormones, believe it or not. They are complicated little things, and there are hundreds of them in your body, produced by different organs at different times, and the levels are influenced by other hormones too, making it even more complex and hard to follow the path, the very winding path of the hormones. So, okay, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. I know hormones are, a challenging area for folks, even for myself. So when one hormone rises or falls, it affects another hormone, which affects another hormone. For healthy bodies, minds, and skin, the proper ratios must be achieved. So, many lifestyle improvements will improve acne. And that is why the Acne Beautiful lifestyle really talks about lifestyle improvements, because you can make huge strides in your Acne Beautiful journey by just improving your lifestyle factors without having to really understand all the complexities of hormones and without having to dig into it all. But I have to say that hormonal acne can be the most stubborn of all. And if you deal with hormonal acne, you probably know that already. You can make a lot of lifestyle adjustments and make a lot of progress and then still struggle. So if that's the case for you, it may be time to take a closer look at hormones. If that's not the case for you, or if you don't know if it's the case for you, keep focusing on your lifestyle factors and keep staying tuned in to the Acne Beautiful channel for more videos on how to change your lifestyle to change your skin. So let's go ahead and crack this nut already. All right, so today, let's simply ask and answer the question, is your acne hormonal? Hormonal components to acne are not uncommon at all. There is still a specific kind of acne referred to as hormonal acne that we're going to be talking about, and that really comes down to an imbalance between the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and the other androgenic hormones that are the male-related hormones. So how do you know if your acne is hormonal anyway? There are some characteristics that you can look for to help identify within yourself and answer that question. So the number one thing with hormonal acne tends to be cystic acne. Cystic acne are the big, hard acne bumps that take a really, really long time to go away. And they often leave behind a brown or red mark on your skin that results in scarring sometimes. It doesn't have to be a physical scar that's indented or deep, but just the discoloration itself is a form of a scar. Okay, the other problems that one can experience with hormonal acne are just the regular old papules, pustules, clogged pores, or even a blotchy, uneven skin tone. So there is a lot going on. But if you do suffer from cystic acne, especially along your chin and jawline, that's definitely an indicator, a big clue that your acne may be hormonal. I almost said hackney. Ooh, that might be a cool word. My foot's asleep. Hackney, so hormones and acne. Hack your acne. Hackney. All right, I like that. The other thing that's really common with hormonal acne is that it's stubborn. It's freaking stubborn. The most challenging to treat, without a doubt, and it can be a little bit non-responsive. This is the fun thing about acne in general, is that acne can be super elusive and tricky. It gets used to things really quickly, and you have to keep it on its toes. Something I've learned along the way. You have to trick it all the time. Now, if you're dealing with this hormonal acne as well, it can be pretty non-responsive right from the get-go. Sometimes all of the lifestyle changes you want to throw at it just don't seem to do a darn thing. So quite a lovely characteristic of not just hormonal acne, but acne on a whole. But don't worry, don't fret. We can always overcome these things, and we do. So how do hormones affect the skin? So we're going to talk about oxidation right now. So think of the word oxidation, think of like an apple. You cut an apple, you leave it out, it gets brown. That process of the apple turning brown, the apple is exposed to oxygen and it begins to oxidize and it turns brown. So oxidation can also happen on your skin, oxidation of the sebum or the oil on your skin. It's a protective barrier to begin with, that oil, but there can be too much of it for sure. I've told you guys before that I tend to have very oily skin. That's why I do prefer a dry environment. But things like overwashing can also create an overproduction of oil on your skin as your body tries to compensate and basically create more oil to balance out what you have removed. Ooh, tricky, right? Very, very interesting. So let's talk about oxidation of sebum, oxidation of oil. Okay, so it's when this sebum, this oil in your skin, oxidates that we get into a little bit of hot water. Oxidation, again, is a natural process. It's a natural chemical reaction that can damage the molecule. So the apple turning brown, the molecules are starting to become damaged by the exposure to oxygen. We've all seen that happen. Put a little lemon juice on that apple and you can slow down the rate of oxidation by that introduction of citric acid. I'm not telling you to put lemon juice on your skin though, although it can be a nice ingredient to include in things. But please don't ever apply pure lemon juice to your skin. Out of balanced hormones. Out of balanced hormones can affect the sebum, the oil, in two ways. It can increase oil production, which we already know we don't want, and it can increase higher rates or accelerate higher rates of oxidation. So oxidated sebum is generally more pore clogging. So when that happens, it simply sets us up for issues before the pimple itself has ever begun to form. And we want to effectively reduce and remove that oil without stripping away our natural protective barrier. So the next thing that happens is that the hair follicle can get blocked as well. It can get blocked from the oil, the sebum that is released from the same canal that hair grows out of as well. Skin cells line the hair canal and die off regularly, separating from each other, and they're pushed out by that hair that is growing. Okay, the problem that arises, and this is a really interesting thing that I spent a lot of time over the years trying to understand for myself. The problem that arises when the skin cells grow too big, too fast. You also have a protective protein in there called keratin. They bind together, and that extra keratin can make it a little bit difficult for your skin cells to properly separate when they mature and die. So let's talk about that again really quick. The problem that can arise when the skin cells grow too big too fast, you have a little protein called keratin, which also works to bind together skin cells. So if we have the skin cells that are growing too big, too fast, the keratin working to bind them together, you're getting a big gloppy mess pretty much that's not properly breaking down and sloughing off. So acne prone people tend to have skin cells that do not go through the natural process of maturing and dying and sloughing off with ease. So we need to help that process along, and we don't want to add factors into our lives that create more clogging of that area to begin with. All right. Combine oxidated sebum or oil and the overactive skin cells, too big, too fast, and the hair follicle can become blocked, and we have a clogged pore. This is already a problem in and of itself with acne prone people, so it's not too much fun when you have to contend with factors like hormones that you feel like you cannot control what's going on from the inside and how that's affecting the skin cell. A blocked hair follicle, oh my gosh, I love this image. A blocked hair follicle is really a dinner party for bacteria. And there's a certain bacteria that lives on our skin called P. acnes bacteria. It's an acne bacteria that naturally lives on our skin, all of our skin. Acne bacteria can get a little wild when this happens. It has to, have a little party for itself and a little bit of a feast. And when this happens, our immune system kicks into high gear, attacking that bacteria, creating a pimple. So you can see that there is a process that occurs long before the pimple ever develops. Before that pimple develops, you already have everything in motion for this to happen. So we want to stop this train of events. We want to stop this dining feast before we ever get to the point where there's an overproduction of sebum, oxidation of sebum, skin cells that are not shedding properly, etc., etc. Okay, so which hormones are responsible for this process that we just described above? Yes, we want to know which hormones are actually influencing this process so that we can make some lifestyle changes that may help affect those hormones. Generally, it's the male sex hormones, the androgens, that take the lead here. And one of the most popular ones that we've all heard of is testosterone, the most famous androgen. It creates a lot of this mess. And yes, women have testosterone too, in smaller amounts than men. But there are some foods like dairy that can increase androgenic activity in the skin. This is because dairy is full of naturally occurring, and we're not even talking about the ones that they add in, but naturally occurring hormones already. These naturally occurring growth hormones, IGF-1, that really are there for the growth of baby animals. So when, this is one of the reasons why I highly recommend somebody struggling with their skin to practice an elimination diet, and that's something that we probably need to chat about too. But eliminating something like dairy from your diet for a little while and seeing how your skin reacts can give you a really good inside look into how your hormones may be interacting with your skin as well. So yes, dairy is full of naturally occurring growth hormones for baby animals to grow big. That's the purpose of them. Growth hormones can affect androgenic activity, thereby increasing testosterone levels in both men and women. This is, again, a very big reason why I recommend reducing or eliminating dairy until you know for sure how it affects your skin. I can tell you guys that eliminating dairy for myself back in my early 20s was a huge step forward in understanding how my skin reacted to lifestyle changes and what was affecting my acne. All right. We will do a lot more videos and information regarding foods that influence hormones, as well as how to do an elimination diet and how to replace some of these foods that a lot of us have come to know as staples in our diet. All right, so where am I here? My notes. Right, okay. I love them. Okay, love this part. So if you're genetically prone to acne, let's also say it's your weak spot, your chronic condition. It's the place your body goes to when it feels out of whack. You may be more sensitive to what can be negative effects of regular levels of androgenic activity. This helps us understand why someone without acne can eat the same things and not break out. So we all have normal levels of androgenic activity, but acne-prone people may be more sensitive to natural, normal levels of androgenic activity in the skin, hence making it potentially beneficial to go ahead and take a more extreme step and remove something that, like dairy, from their diet that could affect the androgenic activity in their skin to begin with. Okay. I honestly hesitate to even use the word genetics, so I had to smile and laugh a little bit there, because many see it as a so-called death sentence, and I'm here to tell you that you can absolutely rise above your genetics. And there is a puzzle to figure out, yes, and by figuring out your puzzle with the help of Acne Beautiful, you can keep your androgenic activity regulated to a degree that works for your skin. And remember this, I always say this, nothing is forever. If you eliminate something for your diet for a while, you can always add it back in and see how things are down the line. A lot of times, our gut alone needs time to heal and repair leaky gut syndrome, and then we can add something in that was offending us before and not have the same problems. Now, for me personally, I can add things back in to small degrees and have them periodically without any issues. I have my own personal threshold, and it really relates to how everything else is going on in my life. If my stress levels are a little bit higher than usual, I'm going to back off of some of these things that I might be a little bit more open to eating if everything is going really smoothly and there is that homeostasis present. So this is what I talk about when I mean getting to know your body, understanding your body and how it works. And over time, you'll be super tuned in and you'll know exactly what you can do and what you can't do, when and where. And that again takes time, patience, practice, and the support of others who have been down that road. All right. So what else influences androgenic activity? Inflammation. Always a big factor in any chronic condition, and acne is no different. Inflammation can be caused by many different things. We've already touched on how inflammation is involved in shedding the skin cells when they do not properly slough off. And then the bacteria, the P. acnes bacteria, have a little party, and then the immune system kicks into high gear, and poof, a pimple. Okay, inflammation right there. But a body overrun by toxins, processed foods, stress, digestive issues, leaky gut we're talking about, food allergies, food sensitivities, and low levels of vital nutrients and antioxidants all turn on the inflammation switch. A hormonal imbalance between estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone and other androgens is the other part of the inflammation train or puzzle. So this is why I always recommend starting your AB journey with lifestyle improvements first. Huge gains can be made there alone. Then, if you find you still struggle with hormonal acne, it is time to give those hormones some targeted action. And that's why we are here today breaking down the basics of hormones. Very specific causes of imbalances that lead to androgenic activity can be quite varied from person to person. And this is one huge reason why treating acne is not always as straightforward as we think. It's a personal thing. This is also why Acne Beautiful recommends having a coach, having a community of support to help you navigate the path, the puzzle, because there is absolutely no one-size-fits-all prescription. It takes, again, time, patience, heart, and a lot of dedication to figure out your unique Acne Beautiful story. So that's enough for hormones today, or that's enough hormones for one day. Next time we will talk about how hormones function in the body, i.e. the endocrine system. One of my favorite systems to talk about is the nervous system, but we will not be talking about that next week. If you've listened to any of my videos in the past where I've talked about a lot of energetic elements to acne, I was speaking to the nervous system. Absolutely. And when we talk about energetic aspects of acne and the nervous system, we are talking about stress too. And stress will also affect your hormones. So everything comes back. There's a big old feedback loop. This is why this is a holistic journey. You are a whole person with a whole mind and a whole body and a whole lot of thoughts of your own. So please go ahead, guys, comment. Give me your questions. I know this is a deep topic to get into, and it is complex. It's the kind of stuff that you learn about in medical school. And we are certainly not here talking about, we're not having a medical lecture. We're really just trying to understand the basics of hormones and how they function in our body. The other great thing that we're not going to talk about today, but we will also get into, are some supplements that can assist with balancing the hormones. The reason why I am honestly tiptoeing down this road of hormones is because you can do a lot more damage than you think just messing around and trying different things, thinking that you're going to balance something out and actually making even more of a big old mess and imbalance. So we got to take this journey really slow. It's like detoxing your liver as well. I never ever recommend taking any harsh detoxing products for your liver if you're trying to do like a liver cleanse, because the liver is super sensitive. It has a lot to say, it has a lot of jobs, and it doesn't like to be pushed along. So we're not about to get into a topic on the liver right now, but the whole point is that these things take time, and having the information first and doing the research is going to set you up for the best success, the clearest skin that you can possibly have. So really, thank you all for joining me here today, talking all about hormones. I hope you've learned something about which hormones in particular, testosterone, can create a big old nasty mess, how your skin cells proliferate and the process of them dying off and sloughing off, and how that can be a little bit tricky for acne-prone people. A little bit more information about the sebum and how it can oxidize and what oxidation is, as well as inflammation, which always comes into the picture. So inflammation can be triggered and going on internally by internal mechanisms. Inflammation can also be triggered and affected by external factors in the environment, so environmental factors, as well as the different foods and drink that one puts in their mouth as well. So inflammation is it's a broad term that encompasses a lot of things. All right, guys, high five. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Morgan Elizabeth, Acne Beautiful, right here at your side. If you want to do something to support this community, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. I guess that's the same thing. Subscribe to the Acne Beautiful channel on YouTube. At this point, if you plug Acne Beautiful into the search box, I will not pop up. So we are working on those algorithms. If you are interested in finding the video on YouTube, then look for it on the Acne Beautiful Facebook page, because I will be posting links to the YouTube page that you can that will take you over to the Acne Beautiful YouTube page, where you can go ahead and subscribe there. And one more thing, as I've said it before, I know a lot of my reach is limited thus far, and it's people that, don't have acne, people that I know to be friends and family, colleagues, etc., etc. So you can help me by sharing this with somebody that you think it may resonate with. Okay, and just because someone has acne doesn't mean that this content is going to be right for them, but you never know if it is. So if it is, then more power to you guys. It's taken me a long time to get to this place where I was ready to put this information out in video form, and now that I'm doing it, I really just want it to be a beautiful organic process whereabouts I can watch the community naturally grow, and then I can add things in as we go along. It is really, at this point, it is not about creating a financial element for Acne Beautiful. It will need some financial support to keep going at some point, but it's really about serving the community, creating the community, sharing my knowledge. It brings me joy, and when it brings me joy, I think it brings others joy too. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know we all have a message and a purpose, and I want to hear yours too. Bye for now.